George Washington, and Benedict Arnold. The voter chooses George Washington. The machine asks him to confirm his vote, and he does so. The machine ejects the voter card after marking it as used. That's one vote for George Washington. 4 more voters cast their votes. The correct result for this election is George Washington 4 votes, Benedict Arnold 1 vote. Election day is now over. An election worker approaches the machine, inserts a supervisor card, and tells the machine to end the election. This result is incorrect. Malicious software stole votes from George Washington and gave them to Benedict Arnold. The voting machine recorded the election results on its internal memory and on a removable memory card. A poll worker opens the side of the machine and removes the memory card. The memory card, when examined by technicians, also shows that Benedict Arnold won the election 3 votes to 2. Every record kept by the voting machine shows the same fraudulent result: Arnold 3, Washington 2. How did this happen? The voting machine was running Diebold's election software, but it was also silently running our demonstration vote-stealing software. And our software was able to steal votes without being detected. When the election ends, the vote-stealing software can delete itself from the voting machine. No evidence remains that the machine was ever hijacked. No evidence remains that any votes were stolen. There are thousands of keys in circulation, and any hardware store will copy them. Even without a key, the lock is easily picked. One member of our team can consistently pick the lock in less than 10 seconds. Or we can simply remove a few screws and lift off the machine's cover. Next, we remove any memory card that is already in the machine and insert our prepared memory card. We press the power button to boot the machine. When the machine boots, it will automatically install our malicious software for us. The machine makes a musical noise when it boots, but we can suppress this noise by inserting headphones into the machine. We remove our memory card, replace any card that was there before, and close the door. Our malicious code is now installed on the machine. The total elapsed time is less than 1 minute. It is possible to construct a computer virus that infects these machines and spreads automatically from one machine to many others. To illustrate this, we have constructed a demonstration virus in our lab. The machines use removable memory cards to distribute software updates and store the results of elections. The memory cards function similarly to floppy disks or thumb drives on ordinary PCs. Memory cards act as carriers for the virus. When a memory card is inserted into an infected machine, the machine copies the virus onto that memory card. If the memory card is removed and later put into another machine, the virus spreads from the memory card to the new machine. In this way, the virus can spread from one infected machine to an entire population of machines. The virus can carry with it a malicious payload program that is installed on every infected machine. For example, our demonstration virus carries our vote-stealing software, so that every machine that catches the virus will steal votes. A criminal could use this kind of virus to install malicious software on many voting machines, even if he has access to only a few machines, or even only one. By planting a virus far enough in advance, he can ensure that a significant number of machines will steal votes on Election Day. At itpolicy.princeton.edu/voting.
But some would argue that the state is not, that they're supposed to conduct elections in an open and transparent way, and keeping that code in secret means the public cannot actually observe how it's done.
But that's your point of view. That's not the legislature's point of view. The state has already set policy, and you have every right to go across the street to the legislature and advocate that position and change the law.
Ironically,
but the law is what it is, and I'm not going to argue.
Ironically enough, with this catch-22, the legislature gets elected by those machines.
And that's where it is to us. It's getting down to the point where we either knuckle under or do something to fight about this. Right now, it's a fight of words because, quite frankly, we're in a very awkward position here. It's too late to work within the system and probably too early to start shooting. And I think there's a whole lot of us here in America that really and truly are gutless. And it's only going to be the land of the free as long as it's the home of the brave. It was Joseph Stalin that said so clearly, and we better pay attention to what he has to say, those who cast their votes decide nothing. Those who count the votes decide everything. Because down in Ohio, the people who were in charge of the election commission said to the people who were bringing in the voting machines, all right, open up your voting machines before the polls start here, because I want to see ahead of time that all the registries are set to zero, that there are no names inside. And they said, oh no, you can't look inside these machines. It's for security. It's for the sanctity of the vote. We must not let anybody look in the machines. And they said, we're the ones in charge of seeing whether or not the sanctity of the vote is taken care of. You're going to open up those machines right now. And there was a lot of protesting, a lot of weeping, and a lot of wailing, but they did end up opening up those machines. Every machine had 300 to 400 votes for Bush on it already. It was a big deal down in Ohio. It was on television, it was in the newspapers, but it just didn't make its way around the rest of America. Why? Who owns the newspapers? Who owns the television? Who owns the radio? The same people that own the voting machines. There's only 4 companies here in America that own voting machines.
The risks that we worked under when we were being studied and when we developed our security plan basically are in 3 common sense categories: high, medium, and low. High means it's really bad. Medium means it's next to really bad, and low means it's probably okay. The SAIC report, which is the first one that was done, examined 328 requirements. It was a huge effort. And they found only 66 of them had not been met. And of those 66, they were overlapping in several areas, so it really was less than that. We addressed them all in our security action plan, and everything was completed before the March primary. Very painfully so, but they were completed before the March primary, and we were good to go.
Mr. Curtis, would you please state your full name for the record?
My name is Clinton Eugene Curtis.
And where do you reside?
Tallahassee, Florida.
And what is your profession?
I'm a computer programmer.
Mr. Curtis, are there programs that can be used to secretly fix elections?
Yes.
How do you know that to be the case?
Because in October of 2000, I wrote a prototype for President Congressman Tom Feeney at the company I work for in Oviedo, Florida, that did just that.
And when you say did just that, it would rig an election?
It would flip the vote 51-49 to whoever you wanted it to go to and whichever race you wanted to win.
And would that program that you designed be something that elections officials that might be on county boards of elections could detect?
They would never see it.
So how would such a program, a secret program that fixes the election, how could it be detected?
You would have to view it either in the source code, or you'd have to have a receipt and then count the hard paper against the actual vote total. Other than that, you won't see it.
Given the availability of such vote rigging software and the testimony that has been given under oath of substantial statistical anomalies and gross differences between exit polling data and the actual tabulated results, do you have an opinion whether or not the Ohio election, presidential election, was hacked?
Yes, I would say it was. I mean, if you have exit polling data that is significantly off from the vote, then it's probably